Hello everyone and welcome to another video, and I'll be showcasing how to make the best sidechain settings in FL Studio. So first thing I want to showcase is just the example beat I'm using for this video, and this is it right here. Some of you guys might know where this beat comes from, but I remade it, and let's now showcase how it sounds without the sidechain on. So you see how like muddy it sounds? And that's because the kick and snare is actually competing with the bass and frequency. So it makes it muddy and this sounds bad. So first thing I want to just showcase first is how do you route them to the sidechain. So what I do is I make a sidechain bus and just create a bus, and your kick, route your kick, right click this button right here, sidechain the track, and do the same thing with your snare. You want to sidechain both of them. You want both of them to be sidechained. And then you do your basses. Like me personally, I have my melodies and my basses routed to a bus of their own, and then I route them to sidechain. So, you see how like the kick is empty right here, and this one is full when you route it. That's because the kick is not producing any sound. Like it's only just taking the signal but not actually copying the sound of it. So let's see how to make these settings. So first, create a fruity limiter, have one right here, and go to the compressor and right click the sidechain button right here and click kick, and do the same thing for the snare. Create another one and route the snare, or click the snare right here. So the settings you see right here is exactly what you need to do. So you see right here, knee and ratio, bump all of those up. This is the main thing you need to do. Have both of them all the way up. And the other two settings is the only things you need to change. Like the knee and ratio will always be at max. And the only thing you need to change is the threshold and release. So for example, in this beat only has to have a 200, for the kick, only has to have a 200 millisecond release, and the threshold is only at negative 16.4 decibels. So you really just want to have it, use your ears to like see how good it sounds, I guess, and try to line up both of them to hit at the same time, because you don't want to have, like, for example, the snare barely doing anything. So have it both. If you have the kick right here, try to line up the snare to hit around the same too. And you don't have to touch anything else, just the threshold and release. You'll see what happens if you bump up the kicks, release all the way up. It sounds so drowned out. But for this beat, it's gonna be at 200 milliseconds. As I said, depending on like the beat you're making, you might have to change these two settings. So I'll show you another example how like actually it sounds with it. If I disable the drums, you see how it's pulsating? That's what you want most of your beats when you sidechain to sound like, the pulsating effect, because it gives that like rhythm. So I'll show you again with the sidechain off. Sounds so bad, put it on. So yeah, these are the settings. As I said, just bump up the knee ratio all the way up. And then, as I said, depending on the beat you're making, adjust the release and the threshold. I like the release to have a little bit of sustain to it, so it can actually, the full-on kick can go through. Same thing with the snare. And It's the best FL Studio settings, and I hope you guys like this video, and see you guys later. Goodbye.